I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. I want to spend some time in this video, and I think this is one of the most important videos that I've done, exposing the media's complete and utter failure for our democracy. Just how the media is just a big freaking fail. And I'm not talking about Fox. I mean, Fox is a propaganda disinformation network designed to destroy our democracy. I previously have done a whole expose on the filing for summary judgment by Dominion, where we see in black and white the text messages, the emails, the under oath deposition transcripts from the Fox executives all the way up to Rupert Murdoch, to the hosts of its top-rated shows, all calling the Trump conspiracy theorists and Trump supporters and the base of Fox. They call them effing lunatics, they call them morons, they call them idiots, but they say they need to feed election disinformation to keep their ratings. And I could say the same about Newsmax and OAN and all of those networks. Just propaganda networks designed to destroy our democracy for their own profit. But what I want to talk about is other media networks, like the failure of local media networks to exercise critical thinking. I'll do a whole nother video on the other large media networks that do the whole both sides stuff. But let's talk about just local TV that can't even think for themselves. And what they're so lazy, they're so intellectually dishonest that they perpetuate MAGA extremist propaganda and fascism without even any critical lens. It's like, who are these idiots writing these stories who can't think for themselves? And look, I want to show you this one right here. This comes from WPTV. This is the NBC affiliate on Channel 5 from West Palm Beach. And they described the speech that Donald Trump gave on President's Day as follows. Trump describes common sense agenda to supporters. And they go on to just write about this Trump event at the Hilton Palm Beach Airport Hotel conference room in West Palm Beach like this is some normal political rhetoric. Not only that, they promote it like this was like a great event, that Trump is describing this common sense agenda to supporters. Look, Donald Trump is an insurrectionist. He tried to overthrow our democracy. He posts QAnon memes every single day, a death cult. He talks about destroying our Constitution. He praises insurrectionists and calls them political prisoners. He spreads this information. And what did he even say at this speech? At this speech, it was one of the most insane, deranged, unhinged events. And WPTV West Palm Beach gives the headline, Trump describes common sense agenda to supporters. Well, first, let's take a look at the event. I did a broader expose of this event on a prior video, so you could watch all of the clips. I'm not showing them all now, but this is a clip where Trump brags about his great relationship with Putin and how he trusts Vladimir Putin more than the United States intelligence community, who he says is not intelligent. Play this clip.
These idiots back there would say, he's very close to Putin. Remember when they hit me with the question, who do you trust? Your intelligence people in the United States. They're not intelligent. Your intelligence people. Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Lisa Page. How about Lisa? Or Putin. And I said, that could be the toughest question I've ever been asked as a politician. They wanted me, and then when I really didn't give them a very good answer in terms of exactness, because I didn't want to, because I didn't trust these people. They're bad people. These are bad people. And when I didn't give, all hell broke loose. But that's okay, that's okay. And it turned out I was right. I was right about that too. These people, what they have done to our country with the fake Russia scam, and it's just incredible.
So there's a ton of other clips of Donald Trump spreading Putin propaganda and lying and saying Ukraine is losing, and that Trump saying that he would settle this tomorrow, basically by implying that he would just let Putin win and not fund Ukraine. But this is another one. This is Donald Trump calling Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who, by the way, is a wannabe fascist himself. But here's Trump saying his name is Ron DeSanctimonious, and you got to hit your enemies a bit early. Here, play this clip.
And it was really good. It was really nice. And everybody thought it was great. And about 2-3 days later, oh, there didn't seem to be much energy. They'll even take this crowd. You know, Ron DeSanctimonious had a crowd in Staten Island today. 139 people in Staten Island. We got a lot of people. We have 139 times about 30. We got a lot of people here. But I always say, hit your enemy a little bit early. Some people say don't, but I say do.
Okay, and I could show you 20 more of these clips. That's not the point of this video. I just want to show you how off the rails this speech was. And this is Donald Trump saying you have two N-words, neither of which should ever be mentioned. Here, play this clip.
Nuclear is so devastating that we don't even want to talk about it. And that was a word that was never supposed to be mentioned. You have two N-words, neither of which should ever be mentioned. I said that once. They said, oh, what a terrible thing to say. No. You have two N-words. You know what the one is, but the other is the nuclear word. Not supposed to ever be mentioned. Ever, ever, ever.
Okay, mind you, Donald Trump is referring to the Hilton Palm Beach Airport Hotel conference room before this tiny crowd. He calls it Club 45, and then they changed the name to Club 47 and says, great night at Club 47. This ain't no club. This is a conference room in the Hilton Airport, a low-energy, traitorous, treasonous event. Yet WPTV, their headline that they run with, Trump describes common sense agenda to supporters. Let me read for you what this reporter and what this report says about Trump's event. It goes, it was a standing room only Monday night at the Hilton Palm Beach Airport Hotel as former President Donald Trump addressed hundreds of supporters from South Florida. Quote, so the 2024 election is our one chance to save our country, and we need a leader who is ready to do that on day one. The 45th president told members of Club 45, I wonder who that may be. Just pause for a second. Just think about how this reporter, Comrade Eppinger, whatever, is framing this. Standing room only because they're in a freaking conference room at the Hilton Palm Beach Airport. It's not in front of a crowd. It's not in front of an audience. They're in a rinky-dinky airport conference room. And then it's not Club 45 in front of Club 45. You just use the language of Club 45. It's a freaking conference room. Call it out what it is, you moron. And then, and by the way, whoever wrote this is a moron. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean and do name calling, but what the hell is this that I'm reading? The report goes on to say, the former commander-in-chief spoke for more than an hour on what he called, quote, a common sense agenda, discussing issues he plans to tackle if re-elected. Quote, we will direct the Department of Justice and Education to open civil rights investigations to any school district promoting race-based discrimination because that's what they are doing. It's race-based, Trump said. Quote, we will protect parents' rights by promoting universal school choice, which is so important that the direct election of school principals will elect your school principal. How about that? Then the article goes on to say, healthcare, the economy, and immigration reform were also addressed. In what sense? Taking away people's health care? Don't you realize that for 4 years when Trump disgraced the office of the presidency, he would say, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, the health care plan, it's better than Obamacare. I got some snake oil to sell you. It's going to be better than Obamacare. The economy, yeah, that Donald Trump sunk into the ground. Immigration reform, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Mexico's going to build the wall. They did not build the wall. And then Trump goes, the wall's been built. The wall's been built. Mexico didn't pay for it. The wall's not been built, and it's the dumbest immigration policy in general. If you want to have comprehensive immigration reform, we could have that conversation, but just saying there's a wall, bomb Mexico, that's not a policy. That's just performative BS. But just think about it. The writer of this article not looking at any of these issues critically at all. Then they go on and say, quote, last week we had 121 nations dropping people in our country, Trump said, quote, we have no idea who the hell they are, what they do, or where they came from. We don't know anything about these people. And I think at the end of this year, it'll be 15 million people will be let into this country. And the article goes on to say, the visit from the former president was hosted by Club 45, the nonprofit aimed at supporting the former president's re-election campaign. After Monday's speech, the organization officially changed its name to Club 47. Well, do you realize also that Donald Trump's organizations that are funding him are mostly all being investigated by the Department of Justice for fraud? For money laundering? Should we mention that? We're going to really lean in on this Club 45, Club 47 nonsense. It is a speech in front of the Hilton Airport conference room. And you saw the type of things that Trump was saying. Off the rails stuff. How about that Donald Trump, a former treasonous, a current treasonous and traitor, but a former person who occupied the White House, is praising Vladimir Putin? How about that he's attacking Republicans in his own party? How about that he is spreading disinformation about Biden? How about that he is just completely untethered from reality and everything he says is utter and complete conspiracy? And then it goes, among the sold-out crowd was William Reicherter, a former contender for a Florida Senate seat, who said he's looking forward to seeing Trump back in the White House. Quote, I believe he's the strongest leader. He's got the best plans, and these other countries, they're all afraid of him, Reichter said. If you notice that when he was in office, we never had any of these problems. What are you talking about? We had all of these problems. Not only that, but he wanted to sell out our country to Putin. He wanted to sell out our country to Kim Jong-un. Where were you when we couldn't have freaking toilet paper? Where were you when disaster struck Puerto Rico and Trump was throwing toilet paper at them and treating people like they're cockroaches? Where were you then? Where were you then? What is this stupid narrative that NBC West Palm Beach is perpetuating to their people? It's beyond stupid. Then it goes, then it ends. Trump's next public appearance is set for Wednesday in East Palestine, Ohio, where a train carrying hazardous materials derailed February 3rd. How about the fact that it was Donald Trump's policy that rolled back the regulations that would have had the train carrying the hazardous materials to have brakes that they lobbied Trump against, and Trump moved back all of the regulations leading to this in the first place? How about the fact that you have a Republican governor in Ohio who has absolutely refused until recently the fact that Biden wanted to give all of the support that Biden could give and the federal government could give, but that the Republican governor would not even return a phone call? I mean, that's the end of the article, folks. If you thought there was going to be any critical things, any talk about all the ridiculous things that Donald Trump was saying here, sorry, that's not what the local news is covering. The local news just putting out Trump propaganda. I mean, and then we wonder, why is it that people in these areas are not seeing what's going on? Because they're getting disinformation even here. And again, this isn't Fox. This isn't OAN. This isn't Newsmax. This isn't the Steve Bannon or whatever he freaking calls that stupid show. This isn't the Mike Lindell dumb TV show. This isn't the Right Side Broadcasting Propaganda stupid channel, right? This is the local NBC affiliate in West Palm Beach. They're the ones who are reporting this, not talking about Trump, talking about his relationship with Putin, not talking about how Trump is just saying the most insane stuff in the world, not saying that Trump is just, again, just bragging about his support of authoritarian leaders. No, none of that at all. None of that at all. And this is the problem, one of the main problems with the media. You got just Fox disinfo, right? But whoever's writing this I don't know the individual, but this is a disgrace. And these are the types of things that are reported every day in local news. And if you think this is just going on in West Palm Beach, you're mistaken. When Trump goes and does the rallies, you'll have local affiliates in these different channels write these stories. They'll trade access to give these stupid puff pieces at the expense of our democracy. That's why I've devoted my life to the MeidasTouch network. I never thought this is where I'd go. I never thought that in my life I want to build a pro-democracy media network, but that's what's needed right now. That's what's needed. We need to grow this bigger because this is the threat. We need to identify it as well. It's what people in West Palm Beach are reading. This is what they're reading. So they didn't go to the event. They go, oh, Donald Trump, common sense. Common sense reform is what he's proposing. Common sense agenda. Not a common sense agenda. It's an authoritarian libertarian, fascist, QAnon, weirdo agenda. And we need to call it out. There's no, we know Biden's out there talking about jobs. He's talking about healthcare. He's talking about improving working conditions. He's talking about education. He's talking about women's right to control their bodies. He's talking about protecting veterans. Not just talking about it, like actual legislation with actual results taking place. And this is the filth that NBC affiliate channel. This is a disgrace. An utter disgrace. We're exposing it. We're calling it out here on the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. So please hit the subscribe button right now. It's free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're marching to 1 million subscribers in March. So please hit subscribe. Also, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. You'll love the exclusive content we have there. That's how we fund the MeidasTouch Network, is through our Patreon exclusively for now. So check out patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And while you're at it, maybe check out Killing County on Hulu. I executive produced it with Colin Kaepernick and the great team at ABC and Hulu. I'm Ben Meiselas. Again, hit subscribe.
Love this video? Then you'll love the MeidasTouch podcast. Listen as my brothers and I break down the latest news and chat with top political leaders on the fastest growing pro-democracy podcast in the world. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Add the MeidasTouch podcast right now wherever you listen to your podcasts.